it's not that far into the game.
Right.
And people are playing the beta. We're on beta 6 right now, I believe, and people have played the game hundreds and hundreds of hours, which is, you know, if you think of a typical game, that's just insane. Like, how many games can you play just like the first, what, I don't even know, is it 20-30% of the normal difficulty, and like do that for hundreds of hours? Like, it's pretty exciting. And it's held up, I think, pretty well. Like, people obviously are having problems with the game being too easy because it's so early, but otherwise people are still having a great time. It's a lot of fun, and it's what it's there to do.
Right.
It's not getting boring, right? It's just easy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, we're at that stage right now where we're like, okay, we know this is not where we're supposed to be, but we can't get any further.
Yeah.
That's been our main complaint with the game.
You guys are actually completely loaded out. The game's actually like decided that you're too high level for 3-4, and it's like kicking you guys back down to like a more appropriate difficulty, and giving you guys the bonus loot thing. You guys catch on to that?
No. Wait, you're gonna have to explain that to me. I know Zell probably got it, but just for everybody else, it's probably slow.
So one of the things that's really key for us is like it's a co-op game. We want
Right.
to play together. And so one of the systems we have in the game is called sidekicking or cooperation. I think it's called cooperation in the game.
Right.
And the idea is that like if you bring different levels of loot into a level, there's actually a tremendous difference between even like 10 levels of loot. You can be doing 50% more damage if you're 10 levels higher than somebody else. And if we didn't do any adjustment on our side, just the levels would be completely boring.
Okay, that's what it meant by everything is the cooperation thing, where it said everybody's got the same resist levels and it's evened out and all that stuff.
Yeah, so it's not like we don't flatten it. It's not flattened. We just sort of take the stats for the items that you got and bring them back down to something closer to what's there for that level, so that it's fun for everybody. And then because you're above the level and you want to get some good stuff, we give you item find bonus on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you've totally got an incentive to play. And in fact, while you're sidekicking, it gives you better items, just as if you're playing at your normal level, at your sort of your normal level progression. So everyone's got an incentive to play together. We don't really want to give anyone a reason to not play with their friends, right? Like, that's just silly.
Right.
Accessed.
Tiddling wants to know about DNA and stuff, but I can kind of answer that question.
Go for it.
In terms of DNA, whether it's important or not, it becomes important later because you're having to buy stuff out of the upgrade shop. So, like, for inventory slots, how many catalysts you can hold, all that stuff. It also comes into play because the more DNA you can have, the more items you can technically deck your character out with in terms of aesthetics or even actual skill-based items. So.
Like real high-level items, I don't know how much that's going to cost to equip.
Yeah.
That's a lot more DNA.
Yeah.
But you get a lot more DNA too. So.
Right. How is the modability of this game? What do you mean? Like, if I were to put a third-party mod in, you can't mod it, from what I'm going to understand.
Yeah. Well, that's a div, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. That's on him.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. Nobody official. Modding's under community.
Yeah, that's
like, it's an online game, so everything's sort of like on the server, and it's partially to help control cheating and everything, right, and to make sure that everyone can access their data from any computer. So that part's not going to be moddable. But what people do with the game on their computer besides that, I don't know anything about.
Right. Okay. This question's been asked kind of throughout the night. I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna let you answer it anyways, just because I want the official word. Essentially, a lot of people have asked, and they're wondering if you'll ever make a DOTA mode, basically, for this game. I know that's a very touchy issue with everything that Steam's putting on, that everything Blizzard's going through, and all that. So.
Yeah, that's actually something. It's not even that for us so much as just like this question of making the best game we can, right?
Right.
We're not launching with a DOTA mode, obviously.
Right.
After that, we have a lot of ideas.
Okay. So we might see it in an expansion or something.
Certainly, yeah. Certainly, there's a lot of excitement on the community about new PvP modes in general. And we've been working on this game a long time. We've got tons of ideas too. Nice.
Threat neutralized.
The only caveat to that is if we're going to do something, whatever it is, we're going to do it right. We don't want to put out anything that's not very good, and there's a lot of really good Dota games out there, right?
Mm.
So And so that would be the challenge. We'd definitely want to look at it and make sure we could do, you know, a Maxis level job on it.
Right. Let's see here. Compared to WoW, how does the class system work? Like, does this game require superb teamwork? Not yet, from what we've seen in terms of levels, but if the difficulty does scale like what we've seen, once you get to Apocalypse mode, yeah, you're going to see like a 40-man raid type of coercion in terms of getting the job done.
You're gonna have to work hard at teamwork.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have like a special, you're going to have to all have your certain stuff decked out. You're going to have, you know, okay, there's one healer in every group, that type of thing. All that stuff.
Yeah, let me totally jump on that one too, because I remember you guys were talking about the AI director, and one of the things the AI director specifically doesn't do is it doesn't change the difficulty. Like it tries to give you like an interesting experience within the game,
Right.
but we don't like mess with the game difficulty because we want those threat levels to mean something. Like you should be able to go to your friends and be like, hey, I beat 3-2 last night, and it should be the same 3-2 as what they played, right? Because it's an achievement, it's an accomplishment, right? And so that allows us to make the game really hard on the high end, and just, you know, you work through your threat levels and you start getting better and better at the game, and then at the end, it's all skill. It's all just like, okay, now it's pedal to the metal. Like, can we beat this level? We tried it 100 times. Let's just keep. Now we'll use these guys and we'll go in. And it's another reason, like for example, why the first time you go through the game, we don't randomize the enemy buckets.
Mm-hmm.
On the first time you beat 3-2, 3-3, 3-4, you see the same layout so that you can like plan exactly like how am I going to go after this problem? How am I going to beat it?
Okay.
Bring
And
it on.
the big question that I have
Yeah,
had,
that's
like
right, Jay.
spammed through the channel for like the past 10 pages, if it were on a page thing, is the trade system. Everybody wants to know about the trade system.
Yeah, so the reason we aren't talking about it is not because we don't want to. Like, it's really, obviously it's a really exciting idea for the community, something we've talked about for a long time. It's just we don't have it yet. We haven't got something we're happy with, and we're not going to put out something that's not ready. And so when we have something we're happy with and we think people are going to like, then you guys will hear about it. Obviously, like, we totally hear you guys. Like, and we have
this character. Sorry, dude.
There was a great thread actually in the forum. I don't know if you guys saw it about the problems with a trade system, and just like how you can get into a loot spam auction house mentality in the chat lobby, and things that could really degrade the community. And we're really protective of that. Like, the community.
I had an idea on that trade system too.
Dude, this is what we do, man. We warned you last week.
No, seriously.
All right.
There.
Well, for me, because I know you want the whole teamwork thing, and that'd be how I would do the trade. Is, you know, when you pick up an item on the ground here, and it automatically rolls it for the whole team. I would rather see it go to a loot pool. So whenever we reach the end of the map, a little window will pop up with everything that got picked up, and everyone clicks on the items they want and hits OK. When everybody has said OK, if you're the only person that selected that item, then of course you get it. If 3 people said, oh, I wanted that one, then it'll roll right there, and no one selected something, it would just roll it and give it to whoever.
Yeah,
and
we totally talked about
trade
systems
that
like
way.
that. It's just a question for us of, like, is there a way we can do it that doesn't even require doing that much work, right? Like,
Right.
and is there a way that is smooth and then we can do effectively, and, you know, all sorts of these considerations that go into development. But it's definitely something that people here are really excited about, that we want to make a high priority. But we're gonna get it in there when it's ready.
Right. I mean, the way we're looking at it is like, for example, Zealot's running, Savage right now. I don't have Savage, and I never will get Savage in my group. So when I get Savage's like epic, freaking rarefied item, and then I have to sell it, it's like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
When you get the end boss reward from the 3-4 or whatever it is.
And you guys are totally not even paying attention. Like,
I see you going invisible over here.
Yeah. Oh no, we've noticed
Watching
it.
you.
Oh, I know. I've been seeing it. I was like, first time I was like, oh man, it's like some artifact glitch, and then I saw you do it again. I'm like, I'm just gonna see if anybody else caught it before I call it out, because I'm too busy beating stuff up.
yeah, I am too.
I am jealous
I didn't
mode,
mean to-
so
Yeah.
I didn't even I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah,
Yeah. No, I was pretty much
and
done.
that's
so.
a big thing for us. Like, one of the neat things about the weapons is that like we do have a lot of heroes, and we want people to feel excited about switching too. Like, it's easy to get into a rut and be like, oh man, you know, I don't want any of these items because I don't play this guy. And one of the things the items drops do is they're going to be random, right? You're going to get random stuff. You're not always going to want it. That's part of the fun of the game. But a really, really cool item can get you excited about playing a character you haven't tried in a while, or playing him in a different way. And so we do want to keep that with the training system. But that doesn't, like, sharing with your friends is a big part of what makes co-op fun. It's a big part of what makes the community excited about playing together. Like, yeah, we're totally aware of all that stuff and want to get as much of that as we can.
Right. Let's see here. Handheld Pillow wants to know if there's gonna be something like guilds in the game.
Yeah, but I can't announce anything yet. It's obviously another big community feature. Like we have a friends list right now, and that gives you some of it. But you know, we're definitely talking about what else can we do with the community. For me, I'll say, like, personally, I look at the community as like the third pillar of the game. We've got the PvP, we've got the campaign mode, and then we've got the community. And we've got tons of fans that just sit in our chat room, right, in our lobby, and just edit and talk to each other all the time. And they're totally important. Their playstyle is totally good too. And guilds is something they really want. They talk about it a lot.
It'd be really fun if you get guild-specific detail items. Hey, I'd like, you know, like a big banner on the back of my guy's back. I can do that.
Oh, we're gonna have to start carrying flags around, so is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have to be flags. I could take some guild
It
wings.
could be pendants. Oh. Could be a little top hat.
To just give you guys a sense of the side kicking, the guys I'm playing with right now are about 124 in terms of level.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that's about
Ally in need of
3 or 4
assistance.
times the level you guys are playing on Trap.
Yeah.
But
I don't
like,
know. I was gonna
still-
just let him take it, see how far we could get with it. Just kind of let him hang. So.
But it's still reasonably, you know, like, we're all relatively similar power level in here. And
Now, I remember-
that was a tough system to do. I did a lot of the work on that.
Oh,
It was really
oh, yeah.
pull off.
I'm sure the balance on it was one of those interesting things.
Yeah.
In
Any little mistake would totally break. Someone would be too
Oh,
strong.
man.
Like,
Yeah, I'm sure that took some fine tuning and some work. That was probably 3 betas right there. So in terms of the PvP, I think you answered this question last round, but you guys may have changed your mind on how you guys wanted to handle it. I thought the last answer I got of you guys was on release PvP would be limited to 2v2, but you guys were going to increase it after release because you guys were working on trying to get some other content done
yeah,
first.
that's a good question. It's another one of those things that we're talking about. Like, it's part of the, like, where do we want PvP to go? What's the best direction to make it competitive and exciting and fun, and sort of build that sort of esports style that we were talking about last night.
Yeah.
And like certainly going to 3v3 or 4v4, you know, is totally an alley we may take.
Health
Yeah.
reserves low.
It certainly, like, 2v2 could be that mode too. One of the things that happens in 3v3, and it's part of why there's only 4 players in PvE, is just like it gets really hard to figure out what's going on, and clarity is super important in esports. Right, you know, you have to be able to glance at the screen and tell. That's another reason why, like, you can't make your own creature, is we want people to be able to look at the creatures at a glance. Like, if you're swapping in the middle of a fight, you need to be able to tell within, you know, a quarter of a second what they're swapping to. And that's just the limitation of the game. That's something we wanted to tackle as having a PvP mode. And so, you know, we have that, and we just need to make sure that if we do go to one of the things we'd have to do, among many other things, is if we do go to more players, that would be the kind of thing we'd be looking at. Is like, you know, is it still readable? Is it still an interesting game for spectators and things like that? It's, you know, it's totally exciting to play with more people, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've already seen what 2v2 can do, and it's just like one of those things. If we could, I mean, we can only imagine how awesome 4v4 is with all the chaos going on. Because I mean, literally, you know, once we started getting that, and I guess that's a follow-up question is, are you guys gonna kind of let people know that, hey, you probably want? I mean, to start off, are you gonna kind of mix and interchange? By level 10, some of the heroes that are a little bit better for PvP as opposed to PvE. Because, I mean, let's face it, you know, Titan is not exactly the greatest guy for PvP. I mean, he just isn't. So you know, I would, and I know because I've thrown him into PvP, and it didn't go over too well. But that's beside the point.
So what are you asking?